Intelligent FM, and as you can see, the topic is how to travel in the dark. And the reason I picked out this topic is I was listening to a master teacher. He does a YouTube video, and listening to this one American, and I think it was a guy from Australia. Listened to a few of his shows, and though their topic was like, you know, meeting women in different places, like master teacher was talking about like how women in European countries treat black men, and then the other two guys were pretty much talking about like how women treat just Americans. I began to think, I said, and it doesn't, because to me, just having the freedom like we have in America, and I know it wasn't always that way. I mean, especially in the 60s and 70s, 50s, 60s, and further back, it wasn't always that way. And then going forward, I mean, as we became more educated, we were always educating ourselves, but as we got more into that, and as we got more into politics even more, and you know, demanding our rights as black people, we had more freedom. Then as blind people, the National Federation for the Blind, many blind business people have moved in different ways to develop their freedom, legislation-wise and otherwise. I just was in that mode of my parents never said, well, you can't do this. My dad and mom never said, you can't do this, Johnny, because you're blind. They said, hey, you know, find what your niche is and go for it. And that's what I pretty much did. When I found radio, music, I found my niche as a DJ, and I went for it. And for those of you who are just joining me and you've never seen me before, my name is Johnny J, and I run a radio show called Intervision FM. I run also a non-profit organization, and you see a donate button down there. So our goal is to raise $200. So if each of you did $5, that would be fantastic. Or you can do PayPal. .me/Intervision Denver. That's Intervision, INNERVISION Denver Denver. Yeah. That will go directly to our nonprofit organization. The other one, I'm not sure, because it said like only 2 people have donated, and I guess you have the level is, you know, 200 of you, or you have to donate, or I don't know, 200. It has to get up to a level of $200 before we even see the donation. But say there's only like maybe like 50 of you, or maybe 25 that want to donate, and you donate $5. We'll see that right away, rather than waiting until Facebook decides to give us the donation from that. All right. So, Intervision is a non-profit organization. We work with physically challenged musical artists to teach them the business of music. We have a few artists on our roster with disabilities. We just now put out Pete DeChange's album Finger T. We also put out Mike Johnson CD. You can go to our website, intervisionrecords.org, if you want to check out some of the music. D'Angelo T CD, and you can check out those as well. And now we're on channel 56 at 8 o'clock on Wednesdays, so you can watch these on 56. And we're on KUHS Denver. That is every Sunday from 1 to 3. And we're also on KOMF Radio 92.9 FM every Wednesday and Friday from 8 a.m. till 8:30. And we're in Spreaker. And we want you to subscribe to our YouTube as well. Our Spreaker and our YouTube, Intervision FM radio show, Intervision FM. All right, so that took care of the business part of us as a nonprofit organization. And you can leave your comments down there too. So, well, when I like to travel. And when I was, as far as like when I was younger, I went back and forth to LA. I went to Chicago. I went to Texas. Didn't like Texas because back in the days that we were going was in the 70s, and it was kind of weird because the black people would say, because me and my brother and my sister, we weren't used to segregation like it was in Texas, and probably it still is. So black people would tell us, if you go to a Burger King, McDonald's, and there's only white people in there, do not go into that restaurant, because the fact that there's mostly whites in there means that they don't want you in there. So, we thought that was kind of weird because, we went to Burger King, McDonald's. It didn't matter in Denver, as far as we knew. We didn't look at a Burger King and say, oh, there's all white people, we can't go in there. We just went where we went, and we really didn't pay pretty much attention to that, even though there was, some redlining and discrimination here in Colorado back in the 60s when we moved into the Park Hill area. We just didn't think about that. So I pretty much grew up, and because of the doctor, destroying my eyes with their medication, and that's another story, and I could tell that story if you like. You could put down and just about develop that story more. My visual impairment didn't allow me to see maybe some of the outwardly looks that African Americans and of course blind people receive, because if you're blind you can't really see people like staring at you and with the mouth gaped open or whatever. So I knew there was discrimination and so forth, and when I started discussing that I wanted to go to Moscow, my best friend Wayne, he said, Johnny, you better be careful, because only thing that we knew about Moscow and Russia is what we saw in movies. Every movie that we saw, that the Russians were these spies and these bad guys, and so we equated the spy industry or the government with the people. And it's almost like if people watch films from America in other countries, they think like especially during the 70s, that all black people are pimps and prostitutes and drug addicts, and until the late 80s, and there started being other depictions of black people. So if you look at the movies, you really don't get a full picture of who people are. Blind people, black people, Hispanic people. The movies is just a little capsulization of that director, that producer's, that screenwriter thoughts, and it doesn't describe the people for who they are. So my friend Wayne, he was very upset that I was just taking it very lightly. Hey, I'm gonna go. I met this lady on the internet in March, and we've been talking, and I wanted her to come here, and then she tried to get a visa to come here, but she was denied. So I said, well, let me get a visa, and I'll go there, and we'll see if that would get blocked. So it was under the decision, if that got blocked, then I just wouldn't be going. But everything went through. I got the visa. The visa was, I think it was like $275 or something to that effect, with 2 points of entries, like going into Russia and coming out. Because believe it or not, I know a lot of people are saying that America shouldn't have borders, but believe me, Russia has borders, and you're not going to go into Russia just to play. They're gonna know who you are, and some other things. So I'm gonna tell you some other stuff about you when you go to like a place like Moscow, Russia. So I would say number one is if you have a friend from there, or if you have a friend that lives there, or you develop a friendship, because with the internet you can develop all kinds of friendships with people throughout the world, and and then go visit, and it's more cheaper if that way, if you don't have a lot of money. Now, master teacher who teaches a lot of financial stuff, the brother, he talked about, get your finances right before you go. And my thing was, I was receiving royalties, because you're saying like, and were you making a great deal of money? Well, not really, because my royalties were supplicating some of my income, and SSDI, another part, and then I had a job as well, but mostly was working with musicians, and I would get paid a percentage of their royalties and a percentage of booking their concerts. So when we had decided, at that time she wasn't my wife, but now she is, we were discussing that it was where I was going to stay, and where I was going to stay was already established. And I could have been at a hotel or whatever, and that would have been fine as well, But we had decided, hey, we're going to see how this goes and go from there. So number one, if you can, make some friendships there. Number two is booking your flight. Well, number two probably should have been like getting a visa, and then booking your flight, because you're not going to go anywhere unless you got that visa. And that visa has to pretty much say like you're planning on being there this date and this date. And I'm not sure which comes first, the airline booking or the visa. It's been so long I forgot. In 2012, it was August 16th of 2012. And so my partner Wayne, he helped me book the flight, and I know this guy named Tony Romo too, which it's weird how you meet people, and he had married a lady from Belarus, which is part of Russia, but it's a different. It's like America is America, and we think of like Americans, but there's Americans from the South, Americans from the North, Americans from the Midwest, and Russia is like that too. Just because they're from Russia doesn't mean they're Russians. Like in America, just because you're American doesn't mean that you are just one type of person, which is not taught in school, or maybe I wasn't paying attention when that was taught. And if you were taught that, then hey, you got it going on. But it cost me about $1,200, and it was round trip. And I decided to go out there for 2 months. And just because of the kind of work I do with working with musicians, and I was doing my TV show at the time in studio, 2 months was enough time for me to really get like a good feel of the people and a good feel of the situation out there. So after I booked my flight and got my visa, I noticed, okay, and this used to happen probably in America more, back in the 70s, 80s, somewhat more or less. Now, America pretty much evolved, and I don't get these kind of questions as much as here in America. But Moscow, believe me, disabled people and blind people are not as, let me say, what do I say? Not, I wouldn't say accepted. They're more hidden away in this country. And for a blind person to travel by themselves, like I did, was seen to be unusual. The flight attendants treated me very nice. I watched movies. I found out you could watch 4 movies in the 9 to 10 hour trip there, and I took advantage of that. I mean, I would watch a movie, and then the stewardess would come by and say, "Is there another movie you like to watch?" And, very nice. I like pretty much. I said I was a vegetarian, and I pretty much, I like the food. Being in the air 10 hours, 9 hours, kind of strange. And you got to get up and walk around a little bit. I was a movie watcher, so I sometimes sat down and, you have to stand up, stretch your legs a little bit. And it was an interesting flight, And then once I got there, the big question was, who's with you? And I jokingly said, I'm with. I didn't joke it out. It was the truth. I said, I'm with me. So that was a big question. It's like, who are you? Who are you with? And the answer was always, I'm with me. And for me, we began to do this wheelchair thing. Even though I can walk and whatever, we found that we can get through. The control, the passport control areas and all that kind of stuff a lot faster if you were in a wheelchair. Even though I can walk and all that kind of stuff, and I was fully equipped to and capable of doing that, we did the wheelchair things many times. And between 2012 and 2014, I made about 7 trips back and forth to Moscow. And each of, I think some of those trips would cost $800 round trip, depending if I booked them long enough in advance. Some of them was like, she told me like in July or August that, hey, if you can come out on the September, because it's an event with my job, and I would love for you to meet some of my coworkers and come out see the event. I had to really scramble for the money, because it was like, wow, it's August and I want to be there. And so the flight was, like 1,200. So I really had to, almost wait until the last minute where I got my royalty check, got my other check, and just combine those checks and boom, got out there. So financially, it was kind of interesting getting out there and putting together the money to travel. But I have learned that you put together is, when you want something, I've been able to, legally get money together. Now, let me see. Let me give a shout out to people that are there. I know I'm only down to 2, so I gotta hurry up and let's see who's here. Let's see who's here. Hey, Brandon Torrentine, thank you for watching. Greg Garvelia, thank you for watching. Janet Dyer, thank you for watching. Jorge Padilla, thank you for watching. Rich Roscoe, thank you for watching. Scott Scuttlefish is watching. Okay, thank you guys for checking the show out. So I encourage you guys to donate to innovationrecords.org and help our nonprofit as well. You can do that even after. Okay, now let's get down into the more business of this. Okay, now number 3, go to concerts and events. They had some kind of a special holiday on in September. It was a lot of military things, concerts, fireworks. It was almost like our 4th of July kind of thing. And so I went to that, and I was surprised that a lot of people wearing like the heavy duty boots, like winter boots and stuff like that. But it wasn't really that cold, and Moscow can get cold. I mean, I tell you, man, that's the north part of the country, and it can get cold. But this part of September it was a nice September, and it was at night, and we saw a lot of the soldiers dressed up in uniforms, different countries and so forth, like that. And we went to a lot of concerts, like we saw like this black jazz artist, female artist. Never heard of her, but you know, she was popular there. We went to this concert. It was a Christian contemporary concert called the Gospel People, and they were pretty cool. You know, I got met them. You know, I checked the guys' hands, the people in the group's hands, and they were all black. That was interesting. And went to see a Slash in concert there, and tickets were like, you know, probably like $100 a person, sometimes $50 a person. If you just translate the rubles into American dollars. It was kind of funny. One time we went to I think it was Thin Lizzy concert. It was their farewell concert, and it was a nice auditorium, great sound. But you know, rock stars, they got there kind of late, about 30 minutes late. People started to complain, like, "What are these people? You know, this concert's supposed to start at 7 o'clock." Not realizing that, you know, in America, a rock concert probably doesn't start on time. And I remember one guy during the concert, he started standing up and dancing, and the police came down and said, "Hey, no dancing," you know. And that's unusual because, you know, in America, if you got a rock concert, people are going to get up and dance. So that was unusual to see someone say, "Nah, you know, you're going to have to sit down and, you know, no dancing at this concert." So, no, it was Nazareth. I think it was Nazareth that I went to see. Yeah, and then so yeah, we went to a lot of like different events, like and one time in the mall, we went to the mall to see a movie. It was like they have some English-speaking movie theaters, and they had just started their English-only speaking channel, a radio station, and so I got to learn a lot about the nuances of living in Moscow from listening to that radio. It's called Capital One, and you can listen to it tonight. I think the show is a morning show, and probably at 8 o'clock at night you can hear some of the morning shows. You listen to Capital One, Moscow FM, Capital One. There used to be another call letters, but if you want to get a feel of it, listen to that English-speaking show, and you get a good feel of like what the station is about and what's happening in the city of Moscow. And some of these people are English-speaking, some of them are Americans, some of them are from other countries, Canadian, but they have the one black guy who does the top 20 on Friday nights, which would be to us it'd be Friday night would be our Saturday morning, I think it would be, because they're ahead of us, you know, by 1 hour. So maybe, no, I guess their Saturday night would be our Friday morning, right? So if you want to listen to the top 20 from the radio station, you can do that. Let's see, what else? I want to tell you some more about this. And we went to a movie theater, and we wanted to take a picture by this poster. And one of the policemen or mall security came by and says, no pictures, you know, no. And I said, wow, that's unusual. And even my wife at the time, she was saying, like, that's, you know, unusual, strange. Because, you know, nobody ever told her that, but, you know, being that I was a black American, you know, they probably thought, you know, something's up, you know, that maybe espionage or whatever. So we waited until he left, and then we went ahead and took the picture by the poster. But it was just interesting that, you know, I don't know if that would ever, and if you guys live in a part of America where something like that might happen, let me know. But I don't think that happens in America, where where people are so worried about espionage and all that kind of stuff. So that was kind of interesting to have that experience. And if I'm not giving much of a description, hey, let me know. Say, hey, I want to know more, because I'm just giving some things of what I heard being in the dark, being that I'm totally blind, in Moscow. And also knows, like, we went to eat at different restaurants. They have the traditional foods. Then we had the Burger King, McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken. No Taco Bells though. No Taco Bells. No really Spanish food. They do have Spanish restaurants, but it's like a restaurant, not. And they have Chinese food restaurant and Chinese food places in the mall. So I wanted to eat some of the Russian food, so I had Bush, which is like beets and other vegetables and stuff, and you could have it with meat or without meat, which I always had it without meat. And sometimes we do the Burger King thing with hot tea and stuff like that. No veggie burgers in Moscow. No veggie burgers at all in Moscow. Okay, if you went online, you can get the coupons and get some pretty good deals as well in Moscow. But yeah, you don't have to know how to read Russian as well. Okay, and now. Okay. Now, 4 is right on the train, and on the trains, to me as a blind person, sounds is what gets to me, and it was the sound on this train that it's like a high pitched whistling sound, like, and man, that would be such an irritation. But people would be awfully quiet. Some people would talk sometimes. And I'm thinking that sound is so hypnotic. Maybe I'm saying it's like making you not want to talk, whatever. But a lot of people, like 20 million people, are in the city of Moscow. And maybe my wife sometimes, kind of like claustrophobic if we went to the subway and there's a lot of people. And so you don't want to go there during rush hour in the morning or rush hour in the evening. You want to try to avoid those times if you kind of get claustrophobic with a lot of people, because they're moving around a lot of people, and that train service are on the mark. I mean, and as far as like elevators going down, elevators going up, forget about that. If you can't walk downstairs, if you can't walk upstairs, there is no consideration for you as a disabled person, right? So you're gonna have to be pretty healthy, leg-wise and heart-wise, to go up and down those stairs, because it's not like here in America where they have the elevators going up and the elevator going. And so I saw that was a little bit different. And they do have a thing where if you're disabled or if you're blind or whatever, if you can get there, you can ride for free. Or if you're over, if you're a senior citizen, which that's 55, was 55. Now I think they raised it up to 62 or something like that. So at that point you can ride for free the transportation. And I noticed like the buses, no air conditioning in the buses at all, no air conditioning. So in the summertime, and I think they had heat in the wintertime. I'm pretty sure they had heat in the wintertime, but as far as the summertime, you just have to open up a window and get your air there, get your air that way in Moscow. Let's see. No, I don't want to pause. I want to do something else. I want to. Oh man, it's 29 minutes after. Listen, we're gonna have to do part 2 in this, because I only got down to 4, and this I'm doing this for my TV show as well, so I have to cut it for that. So Intervision, don't forget to donate. PayPal.me /Intervision Denver, and then you can donate. Facebook, sign up for our free newsletter on our website, intervisionrecords.org. Support a nonprofit by that. Follow us on Twitter, Intervision Reco, and on our Periscope, our Sprint, our Spreaker, YouTube, Intervision FM, and listen to us on KUHS Denver, Sundays 1 to 3, and KOMF Radio, from 8 a.m. to 8:30 Fridays, Wednesdays and Fridays, and on Channel 56 on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. So anyway, I'll be back with part 2 of this, and thank you guys. Definitely for watching here on Innervision FM with Johnny J.